Most people know that you're an active mortgage agent and that we work together on the mortgage side of the business, but I don't think a lot of people know that you're doing something entirely outside of your day-to-day mortgage gig, and you're doing some development. So what's that all about, and what's that look like?
It's been a while since I've been on the Lending Lounge, so happy to be here. It's been a while since I've been in Aurelia, but my business partner and I have a project in Collingwood. We're doing a residential 8-unit kind of small apartment building that consists of eight units. So kind of from the ground up, right from bare land to completion. So we're just kind of in the, I would say, like almost the middle of it. The structure's almost up right now, but yeah.
So far, just with your experience starting out, what's been the most amount of work? Is it really the build itself? Is it the preparation, the planning, the permits? Like what's really surprised you, and how long it takes?
I think the development process is what a lot of people may not think of when it comes to building. Most times you think about the build itself or just acquiring the land. Preparing the actual build to get shovel in the ground takes a long time. So for us, we did a delayed closing, so we did a lot of the prep work before we even owned the land, which saved a lot of time. But technically, it took us about a year to get to shovel in the ground, which is pretty time consuming.
So if someone were to come to you saying that they wanted to do what you're doing, before you even get into anything in depth with them, what are the first things that those people need to consider or need to know? Who do they have to have around them, and what's the most crucial kind of first steps for that now that you've done it?
You basically have to start with the end in mind. What project are you building, and what is the end result, and what is that going to be? If it's a multifamily building with 5 or more units, obviously commercial financing comes into play. Not all the times, but you can combine 2 4-unit properties and do normal residential 4 units or under, or you can combine them together and do over 5 units. But having that as complete appraisal, I would say, is the first step, just because you really have to get a good idea what it's valued at the end, and then work backwards on all your associated costs.
So for someone, when you say an as complete appraisal, are you assuming that person's already went through the permit process and the planning process, or where would someone start to get that information? Are they talking to a designer or planner, or what are they doing to start?
So you have a vision of what the building's going to be, and you want to do something, but before you invest a ton of money into the permits, all the designers, all that stuff, I would want to know what it's going to be worth at the end, because you can put all the time and energy in getting the right permitting and stuff in place, but if the value at the end comes in $1 million less than what you thought, then there's no point going through that process. So start at the end, getting that as complete appraisal. You will need an as-is appraisal at the beginning for that land, for the financing, but starting, I think, with the appraisal is the most important part.
So if a potential person was looking to get into that or do that, is that something that you would now feel comfortable helping that person start with and helping them kind of along the way?
Definitely. And to add to that, a part of the appraisal is the underwriting and the client's pro forma. So in my case, it was my pro forma that had to be sent to the appraiser to determine what the value is, and they kind of confirm some of my findings and maybe change some stuff internally, what they found. But having that pro forma is important, because it can't just be all hypothetical. You have to have an intent in what you want to build, and the rents of what you expect, and some of the maintenance and vacancy and all that stuff set aside.
So now that you've been through it and you're working your way through it, you're looking back at it, what's kind of the biggest, I wish I knew that at the start? Have you had that moment yet?
I was listening to a podcast last week, a guy named Naval. I don't know, some of the viewers may know him, but he was asked a similar question. And I don't think I would tell myself anything I would change. I would just tell myself, you're going to get through it, and there's no need to stress as much as you did in some points along the way that might have been hiccups. Because at this point, it's just a learning lesson, and every project we complete is going to get more efficient. So I wouldn't really change anything.
Yeah, I think that mindset can be taken into what we do with our careers too, right? In the mortgage space, almost every deal has that 1 to 2 nuances that you get worked up, or the client's worked up, or a lawyer's blowing something up, or a lender's blowing something up. And I think part of the reason clients, continue to use us time and time again is that we get through it and we understand that not everything goes as smoothly as we always want it to. But if you're looking at it with a positive outlook, that can be translated into, not just mortgage financing, but development or construction or really anything. And I think that's an important thing for kind of people if they're going to get into that. And I do construction loans for clients, but it's not quite the same as what you're doing. And I even tell clients then, like, it's going to be stressful and it's going to be more expensive than what you think it's going to be. So I think having someone in their corner like you that's been through it and has done that development is probably going to be super beneficial for them long term, right?
I heard a quote, a friend of mine said something about a month ago, and he said, development is like walking through a minefield full of mines, and you're constantly dodging what's going to blow up. And in a sense, depending on the structure of the file, the mortgage business is the same. You don't know what documents are going to come across the table. You don't know when a file is going to come across your table that needs to close very quickly. And the more files you deal with it, like with your business, you've been in it a while, the better you get. So it's very closely correlated to answer your original point there. The mortgage business and development, they're very intertwined with one another, and what I learn on the mortgage side helps me with the development side, and what I do on the development side helps me with the mortgage side. So it's like the perfect two pieces.
That's interesting. So if someone wanted to either get in touch with you about development or building, or they want to follow along with what you're doing, what's the best way for them to kind of get started with you?
Just a call. Sometimes I may not be the right fit for the client, and the client may not be the right fit for me. But the first point of contact is just to get to know one another.
Really make sure it works and that they're on the right track.
Set the expectations and see what they want to do. And if what they want to do is outside of my scope, I have tons of people in my network that I can always refer to. So,
cool. And I think in both industries, right, like development specifically, but I think who you have around you is as important as what you know. It probably way more important than what you know, especially on the first few, right? So I think it's probably a great opportunity for people to get in touch with you and kind of get going in that direction.
Surrounding yourself with people that are doing the things that you want to do, I think, is what helped us the most in our development. And it means that on the mortgage side, but we wouldn't have been where we are if we didn't connect with people that are actually doing the things. So if anyone watching this is thinking about or interested in doing it, like, reach out, because that's how I got in it. I met with probably over 50 investors that are actively doing these projects first before I even committed to anything. And it was one site visit on an investor about a year and a half ago that really blew my mind and just gave me and my business partner the confidence to take action on it, because it's either you learn something or you succeed, but like the risk associated is just not getting the deal done or not doing it. And if you have people in your corner that can help you answer questions, get through those problems, the better it's going to go.